Happy New Year!
Welcome to I Got Problems.
Yes.
It's been a while. It's been,
has.
a few weeks? About
the holidays, something like that. There's a lot going on in December.
And we're supposed to put out an episode, but if you follow our Instagram, then you probably saw that we had technical difficulties. And, we are recording in a different location to avoid those difficulties.
Yes.
So hopefully we can, we're going to try to make some changes this year for everything, and hopefully it's all in a good light and it helps us, get more listeners. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, please do that.
Yes.
It's literally I Got Problems on YouTube, and also the link is always
those views up.
it's literally, you can find it on Instagram, you can find it on the podcast page, on Anchor, on YouTube, on Apple, and pretty much I think we have 12 to 15 platforms. So you don't have too many excuses for not listening, except that you don't know about it. So if you're finding out now, it's not too late. Listen to literally any episode, and I suggest the episodes that you're interested in, not just some random episode. Actually look at the titles, because then you get hooked. And you can also bring your other friends and family.
Even though, let's be honest, all of our episodes are good because we do research, okay?
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
And I know some episodes might be a little depressing, but it's real life shit, so we're not gonna hide and try to be happy-go-lucky every episode. So, and that's pretty much the case. I think this episode is pretty serious, although there are probably funny parts, but it's reality for most black people. And I think I was having a discussion somewhere else, if it wasn't Clubhouse or something like that, when it was they were talking about it, and I was just I can't relate, but I can relate as a black woman. My statistics are much higher. But anyway, with that being said, make sure you once again subscribe if you haven't. If you're listening to this for the first time, click subscribe first on the podcast or YouTube so you can know when our next episodes pop up. And I will let Annabelle take the reins and then start this episode off.
Hi guys, nice to see you again. Like she said, it's been a while. So I do want to start the year off with some tea, okay? Get people talking, because there's a lot of things that happen over the holidays, and as Sandra is mentioning, it's something that affects the black community, but also now a lot of non-black women. So actually, if I'm not mistaken, they're the fastest growing group of single mothers, and that's what we're going to talk about today: baby mama culture and single motherhood.
But do you think it's affecting more black women because they're dating more non-black women because they're dating black men?
Facts. And I'm telling you that right now. That's actually it's not in my research, but there is research out there that they are the fastest growing.
It sounds like it's not fact.
No, okay. First of all, you know me. I wouldn't say anything on air that wasn't true. I'm not a blasphemer, okay? And you know this. Anywho. Let me stop. I'm just giving him trouble. Anywho, but yeah, so if you haven't heard already, if you've been living under a rock, I don't know what to tell you, but Iggy Azalea and Playboy Cardi. I mean, if you're on Instagram, you've probably seen it on the Shade Room. It was a ratchet ass mess. I don't know what else to call it. Besides
I feel
that.
bad for her. I feel bad, black or not.
Do I? No. But that's just me.
She's a mother to a child for a man who still doesn't care about her. Regardless of race, it's still a horrible scenario to have a man literally just
for me, it's
family.
not her race in particular, but more so. And I'll get into it in more detail. The fact that she came out to the scene. Of course, she was founded by T.I. Came out on the rap scene, started appropriating shit. It's you wanted the black experience. You got the black experience. I can't feel bad for you, hun. I'm sorry. So yeah, she went off on IG Live on Christmas about him not being there for his son's birth, even though it was a scheduled C-section because he was playing PS5 with Lil Uzi Vert, which, I mean, I'm not gonna comment on that. I'm just
Isn't Uzi gay?
And Lil Uzi Vert.
Is he not gay?
No, he's not.
Listen, I don't get into it.
I think he's one of those questionable people, but isn't he supposed to be with the
one that's always
he's with JT.
I
really feel like she's a beard.
Lil Uzi? That tiny little boy?
Yes.
That's my third day out here?
She's a beard.
She's in love.
She's a beard.
I think he's
basically what a beard is somebody who dates a gay person to make that gay person look straight, even though they're in the in the closet or on the low. I feel like at best he's bisexual.
I thought he was openly gay. I don't understand, like, what?
I don't believe
Some of these new rappers, I don't know, man. They be too much into some Hollywood shit and get into
the way he dressed, the way
stuff.
he moves, the way he like carries himself.
I mean, not to go too off topic, but like Young Thug, like he's not.
That guy's gay too.
Young Thug is not openly gay.
Openly gay.
I can't call him closely, but
listen,
he's not.
at the end of the day, these are all allegations. Please don't come for us, okay? Like, this is just based off what we see, expressions that they give off and whatnot. But we're gonna move on. So basically, yes, he was spending time with his little boyfriend. And Iggy was begging him on IG to sign the birth certificate after all of these months, which is like, damn, that's crazy. But people were all over social media criticizing her for not choosing a good man. That part I do have to disagree with. I don't believe she deserved that particular smoke, but we're gonna get into it further in the episode. Another point is that Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas stated that he wants to increase child support payments to the custodial parent, meaning the parent who has like what's the word I'm looking for? It's always with the child. It's primary taker of the child. And of course, this led to a lot of men on Twitter, mainly black, complaining about it being unfair. Now, I don't know why they did that, because it's kind of like shooting yourself in your own foot. Like, it wasn't directed at you, but you took it personal. Like, if the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it.
But a lot of guys, I think they can.
So, like, why put it on yourself? You're like, they just made themselves look bad on Twitter. It was just like, what are you doing?
But a lot of black men, it's like they always come to, which I really dislike, but they always come running to each other's, I guess,
defense.
In those cases, because they have friends and they have guys, even their own fathers are quote unquote victims, not really because you chose to also I mean, not all the time you choose to have the kid, but you can have stopped yourself from being in that situation as much as she could. But they always run to the defense of the men because it's like they don't think it's fair for the man to have to empty out his pockets. And it's like, okay, but is it fair for the woman to have to care for this child all by herself?
Let me put it to you this way. Sex takes two people. Well, for the most part. Sometimes. If child creation takes two people. Well, sometimes more. I mean, who knows? Do you get into it however you like? At the end of the day, there's a sperm and there's an egg. The woman doesn't create the baby by themselves. The man doesn't create the baby by themselves.
I mean, like,
therefore,
yes.
Like, I really don't understand what the confusion is.
No, because like, I'm talking about like sperm banks, like stuff like that. She is by herself, but
that's a choice.
By,
she's making that choice to be by herself. But if you're talking about intercourse, you know what the responsibilities are. You know how sex works. If you made it past the 5th grade, which I hope a lot of y'all who having sex are, because if not, if you made it past the 5th grade, you know how it works. Like,
so what about the
there's
women who
so
choose to have the
many
baby?
clinics with free birth control, Planned Parenthood. There's free condoms. Although albeit they be cheap, but like, come on, y'all.
I agree with the fact that there's so many different options that at this point, if you're there's now male birth control. So if you're like literally just sitting on the side, like I don't, like that's on you. But what about the women who? I'm not choosing anyone's side because, to be honest, this is not my problem. So, but what about the women who get pregnant and then the man says he doesn't want the kid and they keep it anyway and then file for child support?
Like I said, it takes 2 motherfuckers to make a baby. Like, if you know you ejaculated in her, you know the risk that you're running. If you don't want any children, by all means, I completely understand that. I'm so against absolving people of responsibility. It's like not even funny. It's just like, I don't get it. Planned Parenthood allows free vasectomies. If it's not free, it's probably low cost depending on what insurance you have. Fellas, listen, you might not want to do it, but guess what? At least it's reversible. So if you want to make sure that you can get it in without any consequences, by all means, take responsibilities. Mastectomies, no, I don't think so.
Wait a minute.
But at least, like I said, for guys, they're reversible. Planned Parenthood, get into it. That's one of our resources as well. If you're curious about it, feel free to go on that page. I have a lot of information. I can't take that as an excuse. I'm sorry. We're going to move on because I'm getting heated. Anywho, so Summer Walker, she actually also went on IG Live. I don't know why people use IG Live as a thing to confront people.
Where else are you gonna go?
Confront the person, but anywho, they just want people in the business to get clout.
But that's the same reason a lot of people tend to take to social media. It's like, even if they want to, because now these are large branded people. They're not going to individually text all of their fans. How are they gonna get into?
But why is it the fans' business? Like,
because the fans be asking. Look at Twitter.
Do they have to respond? Beyonce be getting into a lot of shit. Does she have to respond?
They do not have to respond, which is why
Beyonce
somehow has sat her even through the SARS movement where she could have said something and to be honest,
she was pressured to say something.
I feel some type of way about that, but
I do.
It's not her job to really deal with every social issue, and you can choose to not do it.
The point.
But these celebrities, they literally depend on their fans for their, meal ticket.
That's what I'm saying. Clout. That's all they're chasing is clout.
Exactly. So they feel they need to respond. They feel they need to engage. Look at whatchamacall her name when she kept explaining with the gun shooting, Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
She didn't have to go on IG Live 1, 2, 3 times, but she kept explaining to people who kept talking shit anyway.
Because they were, like you said, they were talking shit about her, saying all kinds of wrong things, accusing her of doing things, and she had to clear her name. That's different. Clearing your name versus putting information out there that doesn't need to be out there. Two completely different things. I'm sorry, that's just me. Like I said, moving on. So Summer Walker, she also went on IG Live because her baby daddy, Lyndon on the Track, who by the way has like 3 other baby mamas.
On the track. Who the hell is this nigga anyway?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't pay attention to
when
people.
They say, oh, it's London on the track. Oh, that's him? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
These are all your favorite songs, like you've heard.
Wow. I only remember
I don't know about
when they
favorite,
had London from London Tipton from the hotel, and then they had tracks, and then she was London on the tracks. That's the only meme I remember of this guy. Like, honestly.
How did he get so
I don't keep up with this. I need to start finding out the celebrities.
Yeah, continue talking about.
Okay. So, basically he was cheating on her while she was pregnant, no surprise there. And she was talking about her being stuck with his child and wanting an abortion. Mind you, she's far along. Like, she posted a picture recently on the Shade Room, and then she was like really showing. So yeah, mind you, she came out the side of her mouth and made previous comments about other baby mamas, which honestly is some pick-me bullshit, but anywho, for taking Future to court. So she talked about Eliza, who's Future's baby mama, regarding their child support situation because she, Eliza, wanted $53,000 a month, which is an amount that actually the court came up with, not her herself.
He was offering her some bullshit amount though, so I totally agree with her.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's just karma. Karma's a bitch. That's all I gotta say. Like, don't speak on situations that you have no business about. Granted, I'm talking about baby mamas and kids, and I don't have kids myself, but if I'm seeing somebody in a situation that doesn't include me, why am I talking about it? You know what I mean? So, anyhow, I just felt like she got what she deserved. Last but not least, quick point. I want to talk about MGTOW, Red Pill, and SYSBM. If these sound like new letters to you, if I'm speaking a different language, I totally understand. This was new to me like a month ago too. Basically, MGTOW is MGTOW, men going their own way. Red Pill is like some bullshit incel mindset on YouTube where guys just trash talk women, specifically black women, because I don't know, I guess they can't get pussy or something. And then SYSBM is Save Yourselves Black Men, which is, of course, something else, another movement that's directed towards black women because they feel like black women are the scum of the earth and everything's wrong with them. So they go after white women or just women of no color, basically. It's an anti-feminist, misogynistic, mostly online community advocating for men to separate themselves from women and form a society in which they believe has been destroyed by feminism. It's a group of successful, accomplished, and determined black men. If you heard of Kevin Samuels,
all these three organizations are all led by black men?
Mainly MGTOW and SYSBM, but Red Pill is like multicultural,
so when they separate
multiracial.
themselves from women, what do they have any other women in this community, or is it just themselves?
I really don't know what like the relationship thing. Okay, so I just mentioned Kevin Samuels. If you guys don't know, he recently went viral on YouTube for disparaging a woman, saying that she looks average at best. Mind you, this nigga has like 2 divorces, and if that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know. Like, he speaks on relationship but can't hold a relationship himself, a successful one. So I mean, I guess that kind of gives you an insight into the kind of mindset and the kind of people that they are.
I mean, these people don't care. They'll always talk about things that
right.
they can't. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, basically they believe that single motherhood is the mother's fault because quote unquote she should have known better or chose better, which honestly is the dustiest mindset that I ever fucking heard, and it's getting me riled up because I don't understand. Like, how do you get mad at the parent that decided to stay? Single mothers don't make themselves. But yeah, anywho, let's get into some facts. So I already went over one about Planned Parenthood. Vasectomies are reversible. Planned Parenthood charges for it based on income. So I mean, if
which
you ain't got it
I
like
find
that,
a problem with vasectomies being, even though it's charged by income, whatever. Yeah, because birth control isn't free.
No.
And most people in America don't have insurance because this is the country we live in. And then to top it off, most women need their husband's or partner's check mark or signature before they can actually have their tubes tied before the age of 25. So in case you didn't know that, you as a woman, I don't know if the laws change, it might be different in certain states, but you as a woman cannot walk into a hospital and say, I am 23, I do not want kids, this is ridiculous, I want my tubes tied. They're going to be like, okay, where's the man in your life? Where's your husband?
Do you want to wait till you get married? I've literally seen stories like this, like on Reddit or somewhere online. It was like, wow, like the lack of doctors seeing women having their own autonomy over their bodies is just like astounding to me.
And if you want
so some future man that may or may not exist as a husband in my life, you're worried more about them than me who's sitting in front of you right now.
My coworker had told me the story, and she said she had her kids. She actually didn't want to have kids. I don't think she has kids at all till today. But she was like, when she tried to get her tubes tied before 25, they told her to come back after 25 because then she could make her own choices without having to need a man to sign.
So we're supposed to be able to pay taxes at 18 because we're officially adults, but you can't make decisions about your body until you're 25. Make it make sense, y'all. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And that's one of the biggest reasons why it really blows my mind that we live in this country, and a lot of people don't experience it because a lot of men can't relate to what women go through, and why would you care? It's not bothering you. You don't have to worry about your livelihood and having kids and being a single mother, and which is also a social pariah because you're in the environment and you're a single mother and you're looked at like you're a plague. So it's even worse. But I think what's even worse for me is just knowing that women still in 2021 cannot make some decisions, actually a lot of decisions by themselves.
Abortion too.
Yep, without and you need a parent at a certain age, of course.
Yeah.
Like you as a young teenager said, hey mom, I don't think I'm old enough to care for a child because I myself am a child. I want to get rid of this child. And your mom, maybe being super Christian, is like, no, we're keeping this child because you are pregnant. God says we keep this child. So now that child has to become a mother at her young age because she can't make her own decisions. At what point does this have to end? And America is so stuck on this in God we trust bullshit where it's like, okay, look at the world right now. Look at what's going on in the Capitol. Like, how can America live under this rule of Christianity and God if everything they stand for is literally selfishness and just, and it's also hateful towards women. And black women have it worse because we're black and we're women. So, I don't know. It blows my mind. I try not to think about it because, of course, it gets me angry, just like, this episode, so.
Also, another point that I wanted to make is that children don't ask to come into the world. I certainly didn't. No one who has consensual sex is oblivious to how babies are made. Like, we mentioned this before. If you pass 5th grade health and biology, you have no excuse. I'm sorry.
Oh, actually, did you watch Bridgerton on Netflix?
That's different. That was a whole different time. Let's keep it. I love that show though.
I didn't know how babies were made.
But listen, like that was a whole different time.
I felt so bad for it. I was like, oh, poor baby.
That's just something else. It was like, for me, you can't lay down, get someone pregnant, and then choose to abandon them later because you weren't ready for them to have a baby. Because there are like too many ways that I mentioned before to prevent pregnancy.
The woman saying that if he said he's not ready, why didn't you get rid of the baby?
And that's bullshit. If you came in her, you knew that there was a chance. Even if you pull out, because pre-cum, I'm letting y'all learn something. Pre-cum has sperm in it. In case y'all didn't know, if you think that the pull-out method works. What's that nigga's name on Love and Hip Hop? Kurt. At his big age, thought pulling out couldn't make a baby, and he thought Rashida was cheating on him. I'm over it. This is why I'm so frustrated.
Kurt is actually like I don't even think his name deserves to be on this podcast. I might have to cut him off.
That's fine. I'm just like...
He's literally one of the trashiest. And that other guy that got all of them pregnant in Love and Hip Hop.
Oh, like Stevie J?
No, not Stevie J. The other guy that had like...
Damn.
He had like 6 baby mamas and they kept coming. Every time he would get, like, and he had one...
It's not Scrappy. No, Scrappy has like 2.
He had like one girl, and for some reason that girl stayed while he kept having another girl pop up with a baby after the other. And then they were on a show, and I think... I don't know who called him out. I think Cardi B called him out and was like, at least I'm not the one who had...
Yes, light-skinned Peter.
Yes.
Peter, yeah, he had 2 bitches pregnant. I'm sorry. Like,
so that's like his second in line to Future to me. It's like Future, Kurt, then what's his name?
How?
And then
how do you do this to yourselves? How?
And they're all black men. I think that's why I'm so embarrassed. Because
it's very embarrassing. Y'all need to be embarrassed for yourselves. I'm sorry. I'm not taking that on myself. Be embarrassed for you. And you shouldn't want to have that reputation.
Exactly.
Sure, there are men out there who don't do that, but tell your friends, tell your fellas. I'm sure you have a friend or 2 or 5, I don't know, that's caught up in that kind of situation to educate.
Exactly.
That's the best you can do, educate.
Yep. And before we move on, I want to make a comment regarding just like you said, that it takes 2 to make a baby. She can't do it by herself, all that good stuff, which is all true, but people tend to forget. But this is one thing I actually told my dad, because I was having this discussion with my dad, and my own father had said, women are stronger, and women are the ones who have to carry the baby, so they're responsible for the entire...
I'm glad I haven't met your daddy.
And my dad is about like 60. He's Nigerian, so the mentality, I want to call it baby boomer mentality. I want to call it African. I don't even know where to start. But that's just a whole toxic mindset that I don't even want to like. But when I had this conversation with him, I told him what I always will tell every guy who wants to argue with this topic is, 1, you are a man. She is a woman. She has a womb. You have a penis. She can only carry 1 child in a 9-month span. You can impregnate 9 women in 1 day. If you can impregnate an entire village of women in 1 day, let's say even 1 hour, to be honest, and she can only carry 1 child for an entire year, who's the person who should then be in control of themselves?
I mean, simple maths. Simple maths. I don't understand. Where's the argument? So, you don't have any. I'm sorry. I'm just like, I can't. I'm very frustrated, y'all. So if you can't tell.
Take that into consideration. With the male birth control, with the female birth control, who should really be in charge? And I've heard women who be like, you can't trust a man to take birth control. They're just gonna fuck around and forget. Okay, so why should it be on you to remember? If both of you are having sex, why can both of you...
And ladies, let's stop making excuses for guys and calling them and making them feel like they can't do shit right. I mean...
And that's why they depend on you like you're the mom.
Yeah,
they leave their mom's house and come right to your bed.
Let's not do that.
And have you feed them and breastfeed them like they're 2 years old. No, it's 2021. You
start making them be responsible.
Like, it's not that hard. If you just put a line and say this will not happen, it will not happen. But when you allow stuff to keep happening, why are you not here? Like,
oh, now you can agree with us, huh?
He's like,
he was making some faces earlier.
So yeah, what you allow to happen is what happens. And if unfortunately there are some things that will happen without your permission, and that's a whole different topic. But what you allow to happen most of the time will happen. So when these men are doing whatever they want, like Iggy with her, I mean, yes, she chose the man. Okay, whatever. Doesn't mean she deserves how shitty he is to her. That's not fair. She should have signed that damn birth certificate the minute baby was born.
Yes.
I don't know they did a paternity test. I'm sure they probably...
well, if she wanted him to get it signed now, they would have to, because at this point the birth certificate is already...
This nigga and like...
I mean, he's on Instagram spending time with the baby, so I guess that's evidence as to, I guess he feels some type of paternalistic feelings towards the child.
Because she called him out on social media.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason.
It sucks because social media really pushes people to do what they're supposed to do, but it shouldn't have to get to social media.
It should not have to be that way at all.
I am totally against like social media, anything. If you want to do something, take care of it behind closed doors. But celebrities they do have certain things where they like to deal with it. You know, like you said, clout. And there are other people who like to deal with it just because they just, they want everybody to know. Freaking, what's his name that was dealing with Megan? That's always going to be the biggest issue of last year for me, because people are literally still arguing until today that he didn't do it.
At the end of the day, we'll see what happens in court.
What's his name with the big mouth? The one that...
baby?
Yeah. Why are you laughing? Yeah, because it was very obvious when I said big mouth. So yeah, the baby is doing a thing with the other
Tori.
And I'm just sitting here like this. Like, I wasn't a big fan of his music, but now I'm just like, I thought he was canceled. We canceled this man.
I mean, he was canceled when he punched a woman in the face for me, but...
And on top of that, he was dealing with a guy who apparently shot and put a woman at risk for possible death. Mm-hmm. Like, even if you can say till today he didn't shoot her, we don't know what happened. The point is, a gun was fired, she was shot, her foot was injured. What happened?
He was at the scene.
He was at the scene.
It could have been prevented. If anything, if he didn't shoot her, he could have prevented it.
He could have even called 911.
At the very least.
He could have done something. He's over here acting like, and then talking shit about her on his album? That's so rude.
A whole ass album! Patty! That's some female behavior. I'm sorry. Like, we're gonna move on.
Let's not talk about males support each other.
I'm just getting like re-angry over and over again. And I'm trying to start off the new year on a positive note. I don't know about y'all, but anyway, look, my third point was that men, of course, we know, can lie and flip the script on women just to get the panties. And many have. I personally have fallen victim to it. I'm sure a lot of listeners can relate to this, and mind you, it was in college. I'm not that stupid now. But typically, like, I don't know if you guys have heard this. I think we spoke about this in a previous episode too. In the first 3 months of getting to know someone, you don't really meet them. You meet, like, what's it called? Their agent or their something. You meet the representative. You don't meet who they actually are. You're meeting them, but it's like the good version of them. You don't get to see the toxicity and everything that they have going on that's under the shadows that they don't bring to light until maybe a year or 2 years into the relationship. Mm-hmm. So most breakups happen around the 3 month mark. I know that for a fact because that happened to me. Because people can't keep up the facade past that length of time. So it's easy to be duped by someone who has bad intentions. And I actually put another link in the references that shows that kind of information. Some men will say that a woman is being spiteful by putting him on child support. But if that is the case, why would you choose to implant your seed, whether it's done purposefully or not? If you came, you know it's done purposefully. Come on.
And is she spiteful before or after the baby? Because it's usually how they're treated. Women react to how they're treated.
Exactly.
If you're having sex with her, lovey-dovey, all that stuff to come in her, you're probably happy with her at some point. Or maybe it was just a toxic
relationship. Maybe it was just a quickie. Yeah, that's what something.
But at some point you were perfectly fine with who she was. And then she gets pregnant and all of a sudden
or at least getting another.
Exactly. Now she's an angry baby mama who wants your money and doesn't want you to see your kid and blah, blah. It's all these things. And it's like, what was happening before she got pregnant? Why is the story completely changed now, you know? I just...
It's like, so if you believe that she's being spiteful or petty, like, why would you implant your seed in somebody that you feel like was capable of doing that stuff? You know what I mean?
They were lustful.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, you chose to lay down with her. Also, men can file an injunction to fight for custody in court to prevent the mother from keeping the child away as well.
But then a lot of men don't want the responsibility
of the
child. But once you're kicking, you want to have it too. So you don't want to take the responsibility of keeping the child, but also don't want to pay for the mother to keep the child.
Make it make sense.
So who's going to take care of the child then?
My mom.
Like... So if you don't want to keep the child, then whoever it is that wants to keep the child, help that person to keep the child. Support that person, because it wasn't her or him who had the child alone. It was two people involved. Unless you decided to go to a sperm bank and you signed your rights away when you did that.
Pretty much.
So take responsibility. That's
not what we're asking. Come on.
It's not that hard.
So questions, and producer, feel free to chime in.
Yeah.
You look like you have a lot to say.
We should do like one question, maybe two.
Okay, that's fine. We'll just do the first question. Do you know of any males with this dusty mindset? And I say males, not men, because they're not men.
Question.
Do y'all know of any males with this dusty ass mindset?
What is the mindset?
The mindset that single mothers make themselves and she should have chose better.
I'll answer after you.
Okay.
I guess I don't want to call anybody out on this podcast.
Ooh, I know who she referring to. I'm not gonna say names on the air, but I know you're referring to.
It might not be the same person.
Okay, never mind.
Actually, there's a few people. That's how I was like, I don't know. I don't want to call anybody out. And there are other people who I know who started off being dusty and then took responsibility, and now they have the child, you know, to themselves, whatever. But I also know too many men who are actually being dusty in their relationships, in their situationships, in their whatever, and they're basically leaving the child to the mother's care. So it's like, you know how you get married? Actually, you won't know. You're not married. We're not married.
We will.
Yeah, hopefully. But people get married and then they become single parents in their marriage. And if you don't know what that feels like, ask a mother who's frustrated with her partner. She'll probably, if she's open enough, she'll probably explain to you what it feels like to be a mother who has a child and the husband thinks that just because he goes to work and brings money, that's all he has to do.
No.
That's still being a single parent in a marriage. You were doing everything for the child and pretty much 80%, and the father says, I'm in the picture, so like that should be enough. So I know a lot of men who are dusty in that aspect, and I know a lot of men who are actually dusty because they have kids and it's like they act like they don't. It's just like, well, if she's not doing anything to blah 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 blah, then it's not my problem. Or literally you have to file for child support to get them to
that's
show
crazy. Like if you end a marriage and you don't love your spouse anymore and you're just over it, fine, I can understand that. Leave the parent, but you create a child. You brought human beings
African
to this
people don't know
world.
how to leave marriages though. A lot of African people,
They really don't.
They stay
really don't.
in the shittiest marriages because for the child, for the culture. Really,
Please don't put that on me. Like, look, if you want a divorce, be happy. At the end of the day, like your happiness is more important to me than you staying in this loveless marriage. I don't care.
Well, that's sad because they put it on us and then they put their toxicity and their lack of love in the marriage on their kids, and it's a whole cycle of sadness. But
generational curses, I tell you. This is where it's going to end.
Dolapo, tell us, who do you know?
I don't think I know anyone that I would say has that mentality like to that level. I think that a lot of men have some degree of it based on their maturity, based on their experiences, because it's easy to like from afar be like, damn, why does Future have to pay so much money when you don't have to deal with anything like that? Like you don't have to raise a kid, you don't really understand the reality of either person.
Some people still don't. Even when they have the kid, they don't know how much it costs for diapers, for baby food, for clothes.
Like you said,
they're looking at you like this.
And just the labor of taking care of a child.
Yeah, like you said, you can have a single parent within a marriage, within the construct where you're not supposed to be a
That's why
single parent.
parents say, I will stay home and watch the kid, because it's a full-time job.
It really is.
People quit their jobs and their careers and what they actually want to do to focus on children. It's a whole thing. And now you want to complain about child support? It's like, okay, quit your job and take care of the kid and let's see how it works.
Exactly.
If you want me to pay you child support, I'll pay you child support and you take care of the kid and tell me if you want to do it in the next year.
Yeah, because I actually know not a high number, but I know a decent number of single fathers that take care of their kids that are very involved, which I think is also good to highlight. Since I'm here, we'll highlight that they're men.
I
know. He has to speak for the men now.
Because there is
he's right. There are single men that take care of business.
I was with the perception that like I don't say they don't exist, but like they're so far and few between.
Yeah.
But now, based on my own actual life experiences, I know more single fathers than single mothers, but that's probably just me.
Yeah.
But I actually know more single fathers that are involved than I know single mothers.
I mean, because we're getting older, so as we get older, we have people who are having kids more around us. So we're seeing them being responsible. Because if we were 21, 22, and we had 21, 22-year-old friends having kids, we'll probably see them being responsible. Yeah, so being older now, you can see people.
A lot of it has to do with maturity, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why you don't have kids at a young age, and if you are pregnant, please get help. And if you cannot get a signature from your parent, I don't know what else you can do, because unfortunately, the law says you have to. And there are a lot of people who do it illegally because of the law. Yeah, some people will go out and do it illegally, affecting their future because their parents won't sign off.
What's that?
Society will let them do it.
Movie where she went to some back alley crackhead? Oh my gosh, for colored girls.
Yeah. And it's a depressing movie.
Yeah.
The entire episode.
You remember that scene? That's
and she can have kids
for
forever. Like, it's so sad, but it's like, please don't do something like that. I know sometimes, and I think the people who take medication, drugs, all these things to just like, because they don't have any other option. And this is what society does. This is what at least this country does, where they put you in a place where your back is against the wall. You have no other option but to harm yourself, because what else are you gonna do? Your man don't want the kid, you don't want the kid, your family want the kid, but they don't want to take care of the kid.
There's not really much time for another question, but other than, do you guys know anybody that carries this mindset? Yes, no? You can keep it short.
I don't know if I do, because I have never sat them down and said, is this what you think?
Right.
But I think from personality,
by personality, how they talk, things they say, you can definitely talk.
I can be like, oh, so you're the type of nigga that will, but I don't think I wouldn't even call him out on it. I just, in the back of my mind, I'm like, no,
we're not gonna be
that's
friends.
The kind of person
we're not gonna be close.
Right, because you can see some people argue for like the wrong things, and it's like, what are you even arguing about? Like, what is your fight here?
Right.
But that's just me. What about you, Dolapo? Do you have any friends that?
I don't think so. Not that I know, but I also think it's because my mindset is different than that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you kind of think people that you're around think like you,
Right.
and like until you find out, otherwise you just assume they're like, oh yeah, like we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I haven't had the experience of finding out that anyone is
Yeah,
not.
that's
on the
how I
same
feel
page
with
as me.
tipping when I go out to eat. It's like, so how to support Black Lives Matter? We already have that. That's still happening. That's forever going to keep happening. Black mental health resources, we have that too, a link. We'll be talking about that later. Yes, we have that here. And then therapy sources, primary care physician, BetterHelp. Unfortunately, BetterHelp is no longer free for the first month.
Aww.
New year. So they were like, nope, we're out. So
they gotta make their money. They lost a lot in 2020.
Yep. And I actually signed up for @BetterHelp finally, even though, because I was like, well, they're not paying me, but we want to let you know. But I signed up for @BetterHelp, and when I signed up, it's actually $85 for a week. Yeah, and I don't think they take insurance either. I think you might be able to sign up for insurance if your physician probably requires it. But if you're doing it on your own and you just want to get therapy, it's $85 per week and like $400 a month.
Nah.
So
I'm sorry.
I hope you guys realize that free month, because I'm kind of salty right now because I was advertising this free month, but I never took advantage of it. So now that I'm paying for it, I want to pay for it, I'm just like, it's painful. I gotta say that. So you definitely will need a job if you need to use BetterHelp. I'll tell you that.
Good luck.
And there's employee assistance programs, therapyforblackgirls.com. There's that too. And then we have sources from Urban Dictionary for definitions, Wikipedia, amythedatingcoach.com, Planned Parenthood, information about vasectomy, and UHS, which has a list of 10 things that were. I don't remember what the 10 things were, to be honest.
Oh, that's the mental health tip of the week.
Oh, okay, there we go. So then, and Annabelle's going to talk on that right now.
Yes, all right, moving on. So this week is, and I think it's like a perfect segue from our topic, surround yourself with good people. People with strong family or social connections are generally healthier than those who lack a support network. Make plans with supportive family members and friends that you can trust, or seek out activities where you can meet new people. Maybe not in COVID, but definitely over Zoom, like not out in public. Because over here it says a club or class or support group. Do the best you can with what you can.
So I guess you meet people.
Like I tried to do the whole restaurant thing outside yesterday, and just my face was pouring because of allergies and wind. It's like I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
House parties if you can, game nights. Just make it work. Make it work.
We're running out of battery. Oop. Okay, well, spoke too soon. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for coming to another episode of I Got Problems.
Yes.
We're starting off our year great. There will be changes, but we'll update you on changes. So stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, and I hope you're able to solve one of your problems.
Yes. Bye.